This is Rockin' with Jam Man. It was Steel Berry in Hand. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay.
Congratulations on your new album, Slay in the Hell. Slay in Hell.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's just the way it's like fast and heavy. It's really, yeah, really interesting to me. Just like fast and heavy at the same time. So really is.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you dig it, dude.
I think Command of Infernal Exarch has one perfect scream in towards the end of the song at the end of the song that was a perfect scream. 10 out of 10.
Cool. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that, dude. I'm glad you dig that.
It was very well placed scream. How did you know where to put it in the perfect spot?
I think with stuff like that, if you've been playing music for a little while, like you can just kind of feel, you feel where it's supposed to go. So that was just one of those times where, it was like, oh yeah, well, of course that's what I'm supposed to do. It comes natural sometimes.
Wow. So you were like, I think this needs something. Scream. Perfect.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like, yeah, just do you have any metal yawns? Do you know what I'm talking about? Metal yawns. When you
Metal yawns, like YAWN.
like you scream, like when you scream. Do you ever use that when you yawn? Or no?
Oh, do I like make the scream when I yawn?
Yeah, sometimes. Do you ever do
No, not really. It's usually pretty silent. And like normally when I laugh, it's pretty quiet too. So I'm not given to be super vocal unless I'm like actually speaking, I guess.
that? So this is the album has a theme of them sent into hell to become a knight in Lucifer's force in order to kill God and take the throne of heaven.
Yeah. I never thought a young kid would ask me that question, but yeah, totally.
Yeah. Well, I'm not some regular young kid.
I could see that for sure.
How did you come up with the concept?
Well, it's kind of like a mixture of like I really like fantasy stuff, and I'm also like pretty strongly anti-religious, so it's just kind of like a combination of the two things. And there's a lot of stuff in the Bible that I think is lends itself to like mythology and like fantasy kind of stuff. So like the war of like heaven versus hell has always been like interesting, good versus evil. But to me, I kind of like inverse that. Like I see heaven as evil and like hell as good. So that's kind of where it came from.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you began recording this in 2019?
Yeah, we started in the summer of 2019, and it took about 6 months to get everything finished. We did all the major tracking though. That happened pretty quickly, but I spent a lot of time on like the vocals and the guitar solos and stuff. So
What took so long? Oh, it has to feel amazing for this to finally come out. Sorry.
I'm sorry. What was that?
It has to feel amazing for this to finally come out, you know?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been working on the material for the record for, I mean, ever since the first album came out in 2015. So it's been a long time coming, and yeah, it's definitely like a weight off our shoulders to have it out finally.
What took so long?
Well, since the first record and now, we've changed lineups a lot, and we did a lot of touring, and both of those things like coupled with just like day-to-day life, I'm sure you've talked to plenty of musicians, and I would be surprised if they didn't mention at least once like just how day-to-day life can get in the way, and that stuff adds up quick. This time it just translated to 6 years.
How are you adapting to releasing music without being able to? Music during the pandemic. How are you adapting to that?
I mean, it hasn't really like changed anything, or it hasn't really affected this release at all. So, um, Yeah, I mean, like I can imagine it being like a trial for some people, but like it just kind of the way things have worked out for us lately, like it kind of was not a big change. So it didn't really affect us negatively. So yeah.
I mean, a lot of bands cannot tour to back up a release, so it's all different now, correct? It's all different now.
What I'm sorry, what was that?
I mean, a lot of bands cannot tour to back it up a release, so uh, up a release, so it's a lot different now, right?
Yeah, that aspect is definitely different. But to be honest, like the band was kind of like on hold at the beginning of the year after we did a tour in January of 2020, and then after that we had kind of decided to put the band on hold for a time. So we were kind of like already prepped to not be active. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, not being able to, like, normally we would go out and support a record, obviously, with like a tour. Touring is like a high priority for the band in the past. So that's different. But like us deciding to take a hiatus anyway, it kind of like primed us to be ready to not be active anyway. So that's kind of why I say that it hasn't really affected us because we were already planning on not really doing anything anyway. So
Do you think it's easier to promote metal music now than back in the day?
I think that that's a really difficult question to answer because, on one hand, the internet makes information so readily available and it becomes where, and like now there are like so many more metal bands than there used to be. Um, Maybe not like per capita, but just in terms of raw numbers, like the sheer amount of bands now. So it's like, it's kind of oversaturated now, but it's easy to find if you know how to look. But before the internet, it's like, you know, you had to be a total diehard. You had to be dedicated. You had to go to the store. You had to write letters. You had to put in like a lot more physical effort to find music and stuff. So I think that the fan base was probably, I mean, I don't know. It's just as strong, I think, as it ever has. I think metal attracts people that are like really, really interested in it. I think if once you start liking metal, you become obsessed with it, at least for a little while, you know? So I don't know. I don't know how to answer that really. Like, I don't know if that's the right way to look at it, you know?
Back in the day, it was flyers and demo catchets of word of mouth. Today, you have a satellite radio that plays nothing but death metal and social media and YouTube and streaming. So yeah, like you just said, it was very dedicated back then because technology wasn't, well, we like had technology, right? We had movies, stuff like that, but it's not like this kind of technology here. It was a bit hard for them to release music because if you're starting a new like kind of music, because back then you had to like read books and like do a lot of, you got to be dedicated.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like, it was much more difficult, like you just said, to like actually release music. It took a lot more money. It took a lot more time. It took a lot more effort. Now you could record an album with, you know, $1,000 worth of equipment, probably less, honestly. But yeah.
Yeah, you're really right about that one. uh I know overseas is really into metal. Do you get fans from all over the world? Do you get fans all over the world?
Yeah, it seems like it. I definitely like agree that it seems like metal's huge over there. But we don't really have any like distribution over there, so I don't think that they're quite as exposed to it. So I think it's just like people here and there, you know. But yeah, it seems like we get some people across the pond that like us.
What is it like when you get fans that don't even speak English?
Well, so far that hasn't happened. I haven't really talked to anybody who couldn't like muddle their way through. Like, I think people who, most non-English speakers like know a lot more English than like I know like Spanish or like French or Portuguese or whatever, you know, like I think people in other countries besides America tend to be bilingual most of the time. Um, like one time I was in Germany and I was like asking people if they spoke English and they said no. And then I was like, well, I don't, I don't really speak German. So I just was kind of like muddling my way through it, and they know a lot more English than I know German. So I think in general, like the communication barrier is like it's a lot easier to overcome because of technology now, because you could just Google what someone's saying and figure it out, you know.
Have you played overseas before?
No, we haven't, unfortunately.
What is the craziest mosh pit you have ever seen?
Well, me personally, me and the original drummer Matt Preston were in like a punk band years ago, and we were playing like a house show, and like there was like a circle pit, and people were crowd surfing in this living room, and like I watched this guy like kick a ceiling fan like, off the ceiling. That was probably like the craziest thing I've seen.
Have ever seen anyone stage dive and miss the crowd? Ever?
I feel like I probably have, but I can't recall like a single time, but I feel like I have seen that before.
Now you're from Texas, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you can play shows then because you are 100% open. You guys are 100% open, right? So are you guys?
I think technically that's the case, but most people that I know are like not really trying to play shows yet. I think that people are kind of like erring on the side of caution, which I definitely agree with. I think soon it will be, you know, okay to do that, but yeah, I guess technically the restrictions are lifted. Yeah.
I live in New York and it's like 20% capacity. So we can't have real concerts here yet. So we really can't have that much concerts.
Yeah. I'd say it's probably a wise decision. I mean, you guys have like a pretty dense population. So, I mean, are you in New York City or just New York State?
I'm just in New York. I'm just in New York, Buffalo.
Oh, okay. You're out in Buffalo. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's up to each person to decide, you know, what they want to do in this situation, you know?
I see you guys played with Oliverance. How was that show? How was the show?
We played with who?
Oh, Obituary.
Oh, Obituary?
Yeah, Obituary.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. And that was actually the last show that we played. Yeah, it was a really good show. There were a ton of people there, and the venue was like a really cool venue. And yeah, it was a good one.
Do you have plans for a full-on tour? Do you have plans for a full-on tour, or are you just gonna take a break until 2022 and just release albums and singles?
Well, like I said, the band's kind of like on hold right now, so we don't have any plans for like the foreseeable future. So, I mean, it could be longer than 2022. I can't say, you know.
It is hard finding shows when you are metal because I'm sure you want to open to play states that are fully open. I'm probably sure you want to do that, right?
Well, like right now, I mean, I suppose with like other bands, but I don't know, man. I mean, I've been playing shows for like over 10 years, and I personally have not minded the break, you know. It's been kind of nice getting like a breath away from that. So
What I can't see doing a social distance metal show. I can't see that happening because metal is basically like just staying together and enjoying your company with your friends. Metal.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of one reason why I don't think it's wise to even play yet. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like a social distancing show is kind of strange, and it's not really beneficial for any of the venues because they kind of depend on a certain amount of capacity to make it worth it business wise for them too. So yeah, I mean, it's just a tough situation all around for everybody involved.
Moshing in groups of up to 4 people as long as they came together.
That actually might be kind of cool to see like pockets of people going in a circle.
Like going in like one big circle, yeah, just like
yeah.
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 But it would be crazy to see tons on a teeny mosh pit, all 6 feet apart, all 6 feet apart, like four groups of people, but they have masks and they're social distancing. Yeah, I would love to see that if we ever got to do that. I would love to see just
Yeah. Yeah, that actually might be pretty funny. I never thought about that, but yeah, that's funny.
What is your favorite memory from playing a show?
Um, I don't have one in particular that stands out. Just, you know, times where like the set was really good and like the people there, you could tell they were really enjoying it. And like we played in San Francisco in 2013. We played with Necrot. That was when we met the Necrot dudes. And that show, that's like one of my favorite shows I've ever played. And nothing in particular like special happened. It was just a really good show. And, you know, it was a really good atmosphere. And everyone there was having a good time. And all the bands were great. And it was just a great time.
What is your worst?
Ooh, again, I don't really have something in particular in mind that stands out. I've been pretty fortunate to have like good luck with shows. I mean, if something goes wrong, it's like at the very least, like I am playing music and like I enjoy playing music. So like if something bad happens, as long as I can continue to play, like it makes up for it, you know?
What is next for you?
Well, me personally, I'm working on a couple new bands. Chris, our bass player, he's in Frozen Soul, and so he's been pretty busy doing that. Um, but yeah, I mean, just moving forward and trying to create and stay artistically busy, you know.
How do my followers start following you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How do my followers start following you? Like, where do they go to your website to follow?
Oh, we're on Instagram and there's a Facebook page, of course, and we're on Bandcamp. That's where you can get all of our music and stuff. That's the best way to get like the physical copies of the record and like merch. We'll have merch available soon. And also, Carbonized has a Bandcamp, and you can always order any of the copies of the release through that too. So,
Well, thank you for being on my show, man. I hope the next time we talk, just at the backstage at one of your shows, man. Have a great one.
hey, thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Have a great one, man. Yeah, it was fun. Peace.
Peace.